Welcome to Epilogue Podcast, the show where we discuss some stuff that happened on a different show ages ago which nobody really cares about anymore.
Hi, I'm Portponky.
And I'm LeBloc.
Today, we're discussing Deep Space Nine, Season 6, Episode 18, Inquisition. Bashir is suspected of being a Dominion spy by Director Sloan of the mysterious Section 31.
So the previous handful of episodes were the calm before the awesome storm.
You like this one?
I like it a lot, yes. How about you?
It's good. Yes, I like it, yeah. It's a lot like another episode, which is also good.
Which is?
Whispers, where O'Brien suspects everyone is onto him.
Maybe I have a thing for paranoia then, because I love that episode too.
They're both good. It's a good storyline. And a space station in the desolate reaches of space is a good place to be paranoid because there's nowhere to run. There's no escape. But this time it's Bashir who's on trial. And he actually looks really dodgy.
He does.
The first few interviews, I was kind of on his side. Like, oh, you're blowing this out of proportion. And then when Sisko sat in on the third one, I was kind of on Sloan's side a little bit.
I kept wavering between thinking, oh, there's no way he's a collaborator or working for the Dominion. And wait, is this true? No, they're trying to trick him. No, there's a changeling that's infiltrated, which they've done so many times and they shouldn't have done again. I was all over the place and I love that. And then where it ended up wasn't something I saw, and I love the implications of the reveal.
Starfleet is not as squeaky clean as they like to appear. They have their own secret guys.
And it's great that those secret guys have been there for some time, since Starfleet's inception, I think. Whatever they said.
Yeah, since the charter was first written.
Okay. And that's so much better than creating this section as a response to the Dominion. I like that this has always been there and that there's this corruption coming from within Starfleet. They're so worried about outside enemies that they're not looking inward.
But are they enemies, though?
That's a good point. Are they? They seem to be functioning. They've been around this long.
Bashir's criticism was they hold too much power in an unelected manner. And that's probably true. But
they're good at it.
Yeah, I don't know. How far can the Federation go on good faith alone? Sometimes you need to get your hands wet. Sisko brought up the term conflict of interest.
It only took how many seasons?
Well, it was only a few episodes ago when Worf and Dax were off on a mission that we thought they should think about conflicts of interest. Here, he brings it up and Sloan just dismisses it.
Wait, that wasn't even Sisko, though. That was part of the program.
Yes, although I assume the program will have simulated Sisko reasonably accurately. Up until the conclusion where everyone turns against him.
But yes, it's good they know conflict of interest is a thing that exists.
It's kind of good. He brought it up and Sloan just says, no, that makes me the best for this job. Conflicts of interest only make me more enthusiastic.
Oh, don't you see? Being emotionally invested means I will make 100% the correct decision. I can't be wrong. Because I want to be right so badly.
Well, but who knows if any of that was even true.
They did a wonderful job of taking several episodes that we've seen and making us look at them a little differently in the light of this accusation. We have Bashir when he helped the augments, when he was a prisoner and held in solitary confinement, and when he was trying to cure the Jem'Hadar of their addiction to Ketracel White. It's good that they're acknowledging these things that happened in the past, and then making us look at them with a new spin on it. I also like that they took what we pointed out as a plot hole. Why was this runabout orbiting the prison? And they used that as a reason for, of course, he's guilty. That was really funny to me.
That plot hole was so significant, the people writing the show wanted to cover it.
We have to address this.
Yeah, well, there's no way they could escape from an internment camp. It is almost like they wanted them to escape. Leaving the runabout there is overly silly.
It's super convenient for a prison outbreak to have a getaway vehicle nice and ready.
We've always said Bashir has a loose grip on morals. It's unusual to see it bared in front of the viewer, although they kind of stick to his medical choices.
Wei Yun had me convinced when he mixed it with Bashir's determination to save people. Oh, well, you wanted to save all these millions of people. That's why you defected. I thought, wait, would he really do that? Maybe he would.
He didn't know that surrender would be the cheapest option in terms of lives, or so he thinks, until after he was in the internment camp, though. But I guess Section 31 didn't know he didn't know that. This is a good episode to watch for the second time, or third or fourth or whatever. There's lots of little clues, well, not really clues, there's lots of little bits that make sense in a holodeck adventure.
Please tell me.
So he orders the breakfast and he gets the gach, and he opens the label and it says it's for Worf, and it has Worf's room number written there.
Yes.
That's clearly a clue. That's a video game. You would write down or remember that room number so you could go recruit Worf if you needed to. And they march him through the promenade, and Cisco even points out this is needlessly dramatic.
Yeah.
And it is. The only reason for it is to, I guess, see if Bashir will say, oh, hey, Quark, code brown, or something.
Wink, wink.
O'Brien hacking the transmission into his quarters was another thing that once you know that it's an illusion, that kind of fits in as a plot event created for the holodeck adventure.
That part was kind of weird watching this episode for the first time. I thought, why is O'Brien risking this? They said do not communicate, and they are already on edge. He shouldn't be doing this. But now knowing, oh, that was a trap to set him up, that, or some bait to see if he would take it.
Yeah, see if he went to look for a secret compartment in his quarters or something. Look for a beacon or something. You know. This is not the first time Star Trek has done an episode that's secretly a holodeck adventure. And they always end the same way.
There's some secret organization.
No, well,
covert operations?
No, I mean, when he pats O'Brien on the arm and his arm is healed.
Oh, something that happened in the real world very recently isn't represented in the program.
Not quite that specific, but they always just go for 90% of the episode and then the simulation slips up. I don't know if this is a criticism because I don't know how else it could possibly go. Obviously, if they never noticed any inconsistency, they would go on believing it.
He's stuck in there forever. Lives out 20 years, just like O'Brien in Hard Time.
But it's not accelerated.
Yeah, so he comes out, he's 20 years older, and those 20 years basically don't exist for him. Well, they exist, but in a weird way.
Although there's already been an O'Brien episode with this theme, or two if you count the assignment as well, where O'Brien's a traitor unknowingly. I kind of would have liked to see this episode with O'Brien taking the lead. Accusing Bashir of wrongdoing is... No, he's done things that are questionable. O'Brien's a good guy. Whenever he gets accused of stuff, he takes it really hard.
He does. But one of the things that's so good about this episode is how they took those previous episodes and convince us that he has displayed a pattern of behavior that is strange and could be explained if you apply this filter.
It's a good thing that we know he's legit. They really pulled out the stops on that one. They injected his brain with a chip.
Which he removed without the aid of a mirror or anything?
Well, yeah, it was just a big magnet. It pulled the chip out through his flesh. It hurt like you wouldn't believe.
He hides it well.
Sloan tries to recruit him. He says no, and then when he tells Cisco says, "Oh, you totally should have said yes to that."
I would have. That's Cisco's reaction.
Yeah, well, exactly. Cisco totally would have jumped on that opportunity because Cisco is insane. Oh, an all-powerful secret organization that pulls the strings behind the Federation? Yeah, I can infiltrate that. Sure, I'll join.
I love the arrogance of it all. Next time they ask you, just say yes. We'll be fine. What could go wrong?
It's silly because they suspected Bashir was an agent and they went to all this length to basically do everything apart from dissect his brain to prove that he was or wasn't one. So the idea of infiltrating them seems like a bad idea. Whatever they do, they clearly have expertise at hunting out spies.
Now Bashir has to wake up every morning wondering whether he's in a holosuite program.
He needs a spinning top. A totem. Jokes aside, that is actually quite clever, and props to Inception for thinking of that.
It's really clever and gives the viewer a nice visual cue.
Unfortunately, in Star Trek, they have absolutely no way of proving reality is really real. So doing things like this will probably cause paranoia and doubt and probably lasting mental damage to the people you do it to.
That's a potential episode right there. If they can indistinguishably create a false reality, there have to be people who are screaming around crazy thinking this is all a simulation, we're not real. I mean, that happens now. People claim that now. It would have to be worse when the technology exists and people know.
It would be like throwing fuel on the fire. Make a lot of things worse for people.
Because this was all a simulation, that means all of the interactions that don't involve Bashir, why do those exist? That's a little strange now that I'm thinking about it. So we see Quark turn to Kira. I'm sure this is all a mistake, isn't it? Bashir doesn't hear the isn't it part. That's for our benefit, but that's happening. They program that in. Well, I guess they all have AI and they interact independently.
Bashir was right there, though. He could have heard it. He has augmented ears. He can maybe hear quite well.
Oh, okay, so they fleshed out this program because he could hear potentially great distances.
Well, he was not far away. He was just several meters.
Okay.
And I don't think it showed you any other additional interactions. Like the episode Whispers, this has no B-plot.
Because, like Whispers, it wouldn't work given what the reality is.
Well, here it could have a B-plot, but like you said, why would this simulate holograms talking to each other for no reason?
That would be so weird if this had a B-plot. The Jake and Nog episode, when it's not even real. Jake and Nog talking about how they're holograms.
Well, that would give it away.
Oh, yeah, of course, but it's funny to think about.
Mm.
In the beginning, I thought it would be kind of funny if Bashir were a changeling again.
Okay.
They kidnapped the same guy.
Well, he was easy to kidnap. Let's just do him again.
They'll never suspect it.
I wouldn't expect that, but it might feel a bit tired.
Oh, I would have hated it and railed against it, but it was funny thinking about it. That's why I was really happy when they did the food scene, when the food was delivered and he was famished, because the changeling wouldn't eat and wouldn't talk about eating. I guess they could fake it to convince others, but he was sitting down getting ready to eat by himself. And so that helped me throw away that idea.
I suspect a changeling infiltrator would still eat. They would have a stomach and a digestive system, and they would still eat, even when they're by themselves. There's no point infiltrating if you're gonna act weird in your quarters.
Why would he eat it, though? He could throw it in the replicator, unreplicate it, and then pat his tummy.
Replicator is off.
Ah, yeah.
And even if it wasn't this, they probably still would replicate and eat food, because what if someone looks up the replicator logs and says, oh, look at that. Dax hasn't eaten a meal in 2 weeks. That's odd.
I liked when Cisco said, well, fake Cisco said, I don't think you're lying, because that's how I react when, or that's the sort of thing I say when I act incredulous when someone was talking about a ghost they saw. I don't think they're lying. I think they saw it, but I don't believe in ghosts, so I'm not calling them a liar, and then it gets all weird.
Yeah, they played very binary with right and wrong. Similarly, when he said, Sloan said that Mortok said you were in solitary for 7 days. Is he lying? No, he's an old Klingon dude that had been in there for 2 years. Bashir's an augmented walking computer brain guy.
That part annoyed me. Telling the truth doesn't mean you have an absolute grip on reality and fact.
Eyewitness stuff is generally quite unreliable. It's not surprising that one of them said 5 and one of them said 7.
And that's a minor discrepancy.
I think if the Dominion can break someone in 2 days, they have bigger problems than one spy. Another thing that kind of annoyed me, but not really, was when Sloan it brought up that Bashir might be unknowingly be a Dominion spy. He dismissed it completely.
That annoyed me too.
Bashir's smart enough to know that if he was doing it unknowingly, then he wouldn't know about it.
But he is super arrogant. He has enhanced arrogance. Well, it would happen to everyone else, but not me.
I would have liked a line about, hey, I've got a super enhanced brain. I would know if that was the case for some advanced reason. I don't know. Just something so that he could dismiss that idea more forcefully, because it kind of seems like the most likely outcome for a lot of the episodes.
It does.
And if he really loves Starfleet as much as he does, he would suggest not being able to unknowingly be a spy or a sleeper agent or whatever. Detention probably would be the right choice then.
It's strange that he's so adamant that, no, I did not do this thing that I have no way of knowing whether I'm doing it.
I think from a dramatic point of view, it lessens the impact if the main character says, yeah, maybe I should go to prison actually.
Good point.
Yeah, you might be right. I give up. Better safe than sorry.
But he's not a character who thinks with his emotions. That's why it doesn't work so well.
He does and he doesn't. He is very arrogant, like you say. Remember, just a few episodes ago, Quark gamed him completely by hoisting his emotions. So he's good at working things out, but he's not necessarily good at social stuff.
He's never 100% detached. So that works then.
So do you think this episode got away with using the "it was all a dream" trope?
Yes.
Oh, it must have done something right then. Good stuff. Do you have some words of wisdom for us today?
Are we willing to sacrifice our principles in order to survive?
Yep.
Well, that settles that.
Are we willing? Yeah, Bashir says that. Sisko says, I wish I had an answer for you, Doctor. To me, that's a bit strange, because Sisko's always been the one to sacrifice his principles when he gets a serious enough challenge. Remember when he was nuking all the planets to catch Eddington?
Yeah.
Or the number of times he's thrown spanners into the legal systems to exonerate his crew members, who were all innocent, I might add.
And just a couple episodes ago, he said, yeah, I would have saved my wife too, and let those millions of people die.
So, maybe when he says, I wish I had an answer for you, Doctor, he means, well, I don't know what you think, but me, yeah, totally. I would definitely sacrifice my principles.
Yeah, he doesn't know how Bashir ticks, but he knows how his insane clock ticks.
It's not that insane. Well, it's good to put a winner in charge. Let's go on to the next episode.
Okay.
I hope it's a good one.
Me too.